we're going to the peninsula of Ardnamurchan in Gaelic Ardnamurchan. I'm not sure how I pronounced that well, but 20% of the inhabitants on Ardnamurchan are Gaelic speakers, so no doubt they will tell me in due course. As Georgie said earlier on, Ardnamurchan is a very popular tour. There are lots of choices that you have. You can go in May, June to have a look at Wild Scotland in spring. You can save up your time to go in August, September to have a look at mammals particularly. And then the alternative is September, October for the red deer rot. And you can go on at all three times, of course. You can have a tailor-made holiday. You can go for 5 days. You can go for 8 days. There are lots of opportunities. It's a wonderful place to go to. And this is why. Because there are three features of Ardnamurchan that are shared with the other venues that we've been witnessing this evening. Tranquility is the first one. The weather isn't always like this. It's nice when it is a calm day, just start of the morning with the sun rising, and the scenery is spectacular, and the wildlife is wild and plentiful. This spot is really helpful because it is a 5-minute walk from the Ardnamurchan bunkhouse, which is our accommodation we share with no one. We have the whole centre booked out for ourselves. We have accommodation in there, eight rooms. We have a dining area and a lounge and a kitchen, and we have it to ourselves. So it can be party time, it can be quiet time, it can be anything. If you want to come down here by yourself or with the group, it's absolutely fine. It's a wonderful opportunity to. Oh, just a minute. There's some deer swimming across the loch there. Did you see them? Did you? Oh, hang on. There's dipper going across, some kingfisher. And in fact, you know, we've had over the course of this year, we've had all of the big five Scottish animals. People go to Scotland to see red deer, otter, golden eagle, red squirrel, seal, all from this spot, and much, much more. Red deer stag, well, it looks mean. He's a royal stag. He's got 12 points or tines. He's got his mane there. It's been a wet day, as you can tell, but actually that's to his credit, because he's absolutely stack full of testosterone. This is in September. He's been wallowing in the mud. He's probably smeared himself with his own urine and sperm. Is in a really macho condition, because his job there is to signpost to any other stag daring to come across near him that this is his territory. He's guarding these beauties, his harem of hinds, about 20 in this particular harem. They are looking closely at us, and we're looking closely at them. We're not far away from each other. The hinds there have got their ears pricked. They're quite well aware of what's happening, and yet they know that they can run away. They know they're in no danger whatsoever. So the one at the back, the young one, is feeding, and we're feeding as well. We're taking advantage of a lunch break watching these wonderful animals. And later on, we're seeing these young ones as well. They're having a playful sparring exercise. They're getting used to the feel of the antlers. They're trying to get their head around it, if you pardon the pun. And it's a little bit of play, but there's a serious intent here, because when they reach 8 years and maturity, this is going to be not play, but real battle, because they're going to be fighting for dominance to be the alpha male. They want to have the hind and nothing else. So it's helpful to be able to see this in action, and not far away either. So I won't show that again, because I'll press the right button on this occasion and see if we can get, yes, we are. Here's a red squirrel. Red squirrels are not that common on Ardnamurchan. They're not as common as perhaps they ought to be. But when you see them crossing the road on a night trip, we also see them coming up from Glasgow and back again. They're wonderful, wonderful animals to see. This one's sitting very tamely in the tree just at the back of the Ardnamurchan bunkhouse where we're staying. We've had them, a couple of adults chasing youngster up the fence as well. So when we see them, we simply enjoy the spectacle, and the photographers enjoy the opportunity to take some fantastic pictures to boot. And how about this one? What a beauty. What a cute fella, the pine marten. Absolutely stunning. The pine marten is thriving on Ardnamurchan. It was persecuted at one time. It's now protected, and it's really enjoying itself. In the wood, we're surrounded by woods in the bunkhouse, and we have plenty of opportunity to see pine martens as we drive in the night time, and equally around the bunkhouse itself, and quite literally right on the back of the bunkhouse itself. So this is a clip of a pine marten. Sometimes you get 1, 2, 3. Here it's feeding, and oh, just a minute, it hurt something there. Someone is moving about. You'll see a reflection soon in the glass. We're simply watching this pine marten eating its bait. It's been put out, some peanut butter and jam sandwiches, yum, yum, that it will feast on, and then off it goes. It will run away and come back again. In the summer, we can often have this view in full daylight, and the late evening, 9 o'clock-ish, 10 o'clock. In the later trips, it's often in darkness, but we have the lights on. The pine marten isn't affected by that, isn't unduly worried by it. It simply continues to feed. And I've witnessed them feeding at 12 o'clock, 3:30 in the morning. We've had trail cameras on them. They're there throughout the night. They'll finish off everything, and what they don't eat perhaps will be taken by badger or fox. There's a whole host of animals looking for the food and enjoying it just as much as we are. Not sure if you can see the two little blobs. I'll just circle them there, but you will from this next image, taken by a client with a bridge camera, and fantastic. We were looking through binoculars, scope, and he was photographing from the boat, which was on the calm water, and the eagles here, the white-tailed sea eagles, were simply sitting, watching, taking no notice of anything other than what was on their horizon, and it could be 1, 2 miles away. And of course, they're ready. Look at those, just look at those tin openers, those yellow tin openers. They're absolutely massive. The bird is absolutely massive. It will tear shreds out of its prey within minutes. It's an absolute privilege to be able to see these birds, and white-tailed eagles, sea eagles, are becoming more and more common. They're displacing perhaps the golden eagles. Still seeing golden eagles, but not as many as these beauties. And where is all this happening? Well, it's on the Ardnamurchan Peninsula. So this is this bit here sticking out into the Sea of Hebrides. Here's Coll that Greg was talking to us about earlier on. Here's the Isle of Mull and the Sound of Mull. And up here we have the islands, which I'll point out in a minute, and the Loch Sonart sea loch here coming along and delineating the southern part of the peninsula. The western part, this is the point of Ardnamurchan, which is the most westerly point of the mainland Britain, the north side here. And then we will have a look at basically this area here. The longest trip we would take is about 18 miles. The roads from Saarland are mostly single track, which slows us down so we can actually see the scenery and the wildlife from the bus. And it will probably take us no more than 40-45 minutes for the longest journey. This part here is Ben Hyant, which I'll talk about shortly. And I'll just take you back over here, because we're starting from Glasgow, pick up to the airport and railway, and we drive alongside Loch Lomond, looking at the wildlife as we go, cross Rannoch Moor, through Glencoe to the pinch point here at Corran, where there's a ferry across Loch Linnhe to shorten the journey for us to go to Strontian and beyond, and eventually reach our destinations, which is Glenborrow. The ferry at the moment, and for the most of the trips this year, has been out of operation. So we've had to take an hour's detour, which has allowed us to have fantastic views of Ben Nevis and pick up birds along the side of Loch Eel and the top end of Loch Linney as we're going along. So about 50 square miles of a peninsula. And this is Glen Coe. It's both daunting and dizzying and dreadful. Daunting because of the hugeness of it, a glaciated U-shaped valley. Dizzying because of the verticality of the cliffs, and dreadful because of the massacre that took place there on the 13th of February 1692, which is a story that is told to us later on in the week at some stage by Neil Rowantree, who lives in the house next to the bunkhouse. He has been working and living in Ardnamurchan for the past 30 odd years. He knows everything that needs to be known about Ardnamurchan and its wildlife, and his passion and his authority entertain us for a full hour, if not more. It really is a treat and a privilege to listen to Neil. We head across to the western point, the lighthouse, one of the many lighthouses, in fact all but one, built by Robert Stevenson or his family. Not Robert Stevenson of the George and Robert Railway Stevensons, but the grandfather of Robert Louis Stevenson, the author of Treasure Island and other books for children. It's a fascinating story behind that. The lighthouse itself is well worth visiting just to see what's inside and above, but also to have this panoramic view of the sea towards the upper islands of Muck and Rum, sky with Cullins, just picking through the clouds there, and Egg. And we're looking on the sea for gannets, shearwaters, skewers, divers, black guillemots. The birds that we've been seeing earlier on in the other presentation, we've got a good chance to be able to see lots of them. And we're looking for cetaceans, including minke whale. And we've had some good sightings this year in particular. One of our boat trips, full day trip, is to Stafford Island, and you can almost hear the waves calling in that dark, oops, come back again, in that dark area here. There's two sea caves here. This is the one where we follow in the footsteps of Mendelssohn, so we're listening to da-da-diddle-dum-dum of the waves. It's an absolutely eerie and awesome experience, but so too is looking at the basalt columns here, the result of the volcanic rocks solidifying slowly, and then at different rates of solidification above and below and folding. We have an hour on the island. We can walk into the cave, or we can walk onto the top and have a look at the bird nests up there. And Greg was telling us about his trip to this island, Lunga, where it's Seabird City. And one of the things that's difficult to do is to keep on walking when you see these puffins. We've seen lots of them already this evening, and every time they're absolutely amazing birds to see. They, like everywhere else, they are tame. They will simply stand and chatter whilst the paparazzi of photographers ease their cameras out and take as many pictures as they possibly want. Hopefully, though, eventually we'll get along to Seabird City, and we'll be having a look at the guillemot colony, particularly. As you can see, it's parked. The more birds there are, the better protected they are from the bonkses, the great skewers that are nesting up above. And it's a smelly place, it's a noisy place. And you've got to get on with your neighbours, which is probably what's happening with the razorbill and the guillemot here. They're having a good chat to see what's going on and making sure that all is well. One of the highest points in the peninsula is this spot here, Ben Hyant. It's a mixture of different rocks, so some fantastic geology, and it looks down onto the sea here with this nose, McAllen's nose, and we're looking across here at the Isle of Mull. This is a wonderful place for looking for raptors of all kinds and eagles of both kinds, the sea eagle, the white-tailed, and the goldie itself. We get merlin flying across. If we walk down into the Bay of Strangers, we can pick up waders of different types, curlews, oyster catchers, turnstone, and so on. And there's quite a lot of archaeology there to enjoy. This part of the peninsula was quickly inhabited after the ice retreated after the last ice age, and there's evidence of Neolithic settlement, Bronze Age settlements, Viking settlements, and so on. It's a very, very interesting place. But the main reason for being there is to spot, look at them, the barn door wings. They're absolutely massive. The white tail is there, the tin opener, the yellow tin opener beak is there, but the size of those wings is absolutely fantastic. It's unbelievable. You've got to see it. And very often we do see pairs of birds like this. We take a boat trip on Loch Sunna, which is the sea loch at the south end of the peninsula. We'll either go to have a look around this island here, or we'll go out to the sea itself. We're looking for seals, so common harbour seals in this case, dog-like heads, faces. And we're also looking for cetaceans. So we've got them on sides at the moment. This nature, this building on the northern sides of the coast. We've got common dolphin. One of about 30 on this occasion. It's not close to the boat, be some further away, which will be just to the top left coming up now. It's a privilege to be able to witness this type of thing, and it's really good at making sure you use the right speed so that the dolphins can follow us. And on this occasion, it's all Back at the other side of Ben Hyant, this is a place called Kilcorn, and if you've been watching the series on Channel 4, Wilds of West Scotland by Hamza Yassin, this is where he lives. He lives on just at the back of this picture, which is looking at the jetty, and he's able to walk out every morning and probably see otter every morning if he's lucky. This type of habitat is absolutely perfect for otter. And if you're lucky, again, like the client was on this occasion, when she took her smartphone camera out and took the video of these two otters, you'll see everything that you want to see about an otter. It's a beautiful animal. Here the pair have been feeding, they're going off swimming, the heads up. You will see them arching their back as they dive, and the tail flicks up a little bit. And then very shortly, one will put its nose back up in the air. He's caught something, a small crayfish, perhaps small fish, and he chomps away at it whilst he's swimming. There you are, and thank you very much, and off he goes. We generally see otter on every trip. It's a matter of how many we see. We can't guarantee anything, but it's a good fire shot that we're going to see an otter at some stage, because it's the right type of habitat. It's wet, it's sunny, and as you can see here, that combination brings out rainbows, double rainbows, and it also contributes to this continuity of rainforest, the Atlantic rainforest, the temperate rainforest, the Celtic rainforest. It's absolutely awash with plants, sustained by ancient sessile oak woodlands, which thankfully are still there. Sporting epiphytic plants, lichens, tree lungwort, the porcelain fungi, polypody ferns, horsetails, bramble. In this occasion, bramble welcomed with its plant galls as well, and an array of plants elsewhere. So early purple orchid, lesser butterfly orchid, globe flower in the macaire, and then between the rocks on the cliffs we've got rose root and cementing the sand together and sand dunes, marram grass. Then on the bogs, a couple of extensive bogs, lots of sphagnum moss, marsh pennywort, and a plant that we've seen already this evening, the insectivorous Drosera sundew, but three types of sundew, the round-leaved sundew here, the oblong-leaved, and then the great sundew. And later on in the season, we have the wonderful grass of Parnassus. It's not a grass, it's an angiosperm with obvious petals, but the veins are grass-like, which is where it gets its grass name from, and devil's bit scabious. Ooh. Lots of Lepidoptera as well. Checkered skipper are common. Well, they're not anywhere else. It's one of the places where checkered skippers can be found, and they can be very common as well. Moths of a wide variation of moth, from migrant to death-head moth here, hawk moth, and other moths that we catch with a light trap. Plenty of Odonatus, so large red damselfly, common darter, golden ring, and northern emerald dragonfly. Lots to see, and equally lots of birds for the photographer to see and photograph as well. Some superb geology. We drive through what essentially 80 million years ago was an active volcano. It's clearly dead now. So we drive through the caldera and three concentric rings of solidified magma, which is an amazing and world-renowned geological feature. And we end with the picture postcard, which is Teorem Castle, which is reached by a short walk across a causeway. It's fantastic scenery, it's calm, and it's full of wildlife. On this occasion, we can look at a nest of sea eagle, white-tailed eagle, complete with chick and adults. Thank you for your interest. Thank you for listening.